When it comes to the Mexican situation, I wouldn't look at them as enemies. I look at them as also victims of white supremacy, because yeah, they are killing black folks, but guess what? Leroy down the block is killing black folks too. It's not.
Why is that different?
I'm
gonna tell you why it's different.
Let him finish.
And the reason I say this is because there's an enemy who pit these people against us. Because, I mean, truth be told, the white boy took their land over there, right? Texas, California, New Mexico, all of that's part of their land. And so, you see what I'm saying? It's the same situation that happened in the penitentiaries. The black guys and the Hispanic brothers always back in the days used to be homies. We was all homies until we got to prison. When we got in jail, all of a sudden, we started looking at each other funny.
That's right.
And you know what happened?
Yes, that is.
You know what happened? The administration took the strongest Boricua brother and said, yo, here's some razors, here's some weed and some cigarettes. Get busy. But watch those N-words over there. Took the strongest black brother, right, and said, yo, here's some razors, here's some weed and some cigarettes. Get busy, do your thing, but watch those damn wetbacks over there. They're your enemy, because they're going to try to take over the prison, blah, 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 blah. And there you have it. So they set them against each other. But are they enemies? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that, he said, what is the total population of the original nation in the wilderness of North America and all over the planet Earth? Total population of the original people in the wilderness of North America is 17 million, with the 2 million Indians, plus the 2 million Indians, making a total of 4,400,000,000 all over the planet Earth. So when we're talking about the original nations, we have to include the Native American Indian, which the Mexican is an American Indian.
Go ahead, brother.
First of all,
yo, the peanut gallery.
I'm not talking about no Native American. I'm talking about them cats down there that speak Spanish, that got that European blood in them, right? And they got that European mindset, and they riding around in cars and they shooting black people. I'm talking about they shooting just any black person standing at the bus stop. No, those are enemies, my friend. And the reason they're enemies is because they are consciously declared themselves to be so. Not that I made them enemies, they made themselves that. Right? Whenever someone attacks you, that becomes your enemy. Now you have individuals who come to this country because of the way that the system is in place here, and they seek to exploit. So where do they seek to exploit? In the place most vulnerable, where there's only consumers and no businesses. That's where you look to put a business, where you look to see the most return. They purposely do it because this is the way that they perpetuate their system. Capitalism is dependent upon banks, that's dependent upon businesses, that's dependent upon flows of commerce in areas. This is how they track people who launder money, because only so much money moves through a particular area with so many banks, and when that shit spikes, then they start looking for the reason to spike, right? So they control the commerce like that. You understand? The banks go out centrally. There's the Federal Reserve, and then there's 19 banks, and then there's all these little banks. And you could get into it. You get enough money together, you could get a bank. You understand? And you get the local people to support your bank. But once you plug into the federal Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, once you plug into that, now you plugged into their system. You understand? Now once you into their system, there's requirements. They come in, they looking at your books. You have to guarantee your deposits up to so many thousands of dollars. And after that, you understand, it's a whole system. It's a whole conspiracy, brother. That's why I keep using the term conspiracy.
Because you just threw a whole bunch of shit out there that wasn't even like...
That's all relevant.
Relevant.
It's all relevant.
You know what I'm saying?
Like wait till it come out. Back.
He's throwing in the banks. He's throwing in the FDIC. All the FDIC company, all the FDIC is an insurance company. That's all FDIC is. Huh?
For who?
For you.
No, not for me.
For you, the depositor. Yes, it is.
What is the FDIC? Where do they get their money from?
Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Who pays the premiums for the insurance? Who insured by that corporation?
You're insured by it.
Banks.
No, you are. The money you put in there is insured, not the money that the bank has is insured.
Who pays the?
Understand? It's in the name.
You got car insurance.
Hold on. Wait a minute. FDIC. You know what you know what the D is?
Yeah.
What?
Deposit.
Okay. Who makes deposits? You make the deposit.
You ain't.
Wait a minute.
Who's paying the insurance?
Wait a minute.
Remember, I told you it's all right to not know. It's all right to be wrong.
It's
so I'm wrong.
So when it says
just listen. Yeah.
Anyway, right?
What you call me? Never wrong, right?
He said.
So I'm wrong.
He said that the Mexicans riding around in the cars with the European mindset, shooting people, are making a conscious decision to do that.
And I agree with him.
In my opinion, I really don't think the majority of people make conscious decisions. My brother here just gave you an example.
Majority.
My brother here just gave you an example of how the penitentiary is set up and how the different ethnic groups are set upon one another in there. You can look at the penitentiary and it is a microcosm of the macrocosm of what's outside the penitentiary. Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? Those Mexicans who come here, they ain't got nothing against black people until they get here. And now we're competing for the same resources. We're competing for the same space. They got you living in one block, got them living in the other block. They give them drugs to sell. They give you drugs to sell. Now you fighting over the war. It's not a conscious decision. It's when they talk about mind control, they got mind control over people. With the TV, with the radio, with the newspapers. It's mind control. And it's us.
Pardon me.
Who think? Hold on. And it's us who think outside of that mind control, who get a glimpse of saying,
right,
damn, this something ain't right. Your Huey Newtons, your Malcolms. That's why Malcolm died and Elijah lived. Come on, man.
When I say they're making a conscious decision to do what they're doing, I say that not because I think that's what they're doing, not because it looks conscious, it looks deliberate, but because I'm watching this documentary on the History Channel on gangs, and I'm looking at these Mexicans saying that they riding around in their cars and they calling up their homeboy, yeah, we got one, which would be a black person at a bus stop in the area where they live, and they call their people up and they go over there and they shoot the black person.
I'm watching a documentary on TV, and I just said that they use TV, the radio, the newspapers, and the magazines to have mind control.
So let me ask you a question, Larry. Is that the affect?
No.
Okay, is that the affect or the effect? But there's a difference.
Understood.
The distinctive difference is the Mexicans going around killing other brothers an affect or an effect?
What I'm saying to you, Tahuti, right, is I heard about the issue out there before I saw this documentary, right?
Okay.
This is a History Channel documentary. I will get it and make sure that you see it.
And that's 13,
when I'm, I don't know. This is not. I don't know if it's. I don't know the name of it.
You can take Mexican out and put sharks.
Nah, what I'm saying.
What was West Side Story? The sharks in the
what? But that was
the Jets.
Listen, but that was a novel. That was a novel.
But it's no, dude. It's the same thing.
No, that wasn't real.
You can take black spades and.
But West Side Story wasn't real.
So what?
That's what I mean.
So what? It was based on real.
No.
Bloods and Crips are.
Yeah, Bloods and Crips are.
But what I'm saying is this, brother.
They're going around killing each other.
Yeah, but listen to this, right?
And they're
it's the Crips who fighting with the Mexicans out here.
So it's another gang fighting another gang.
No, what I'm trying to say to you, brother,
let's let Larry say what he's gonna say.
The Crips are fighting them, but the Mexicans are just shooting black people. They not shooting Crips. This is what I'm saying to you. They riding in their car, right? Pull up at the bus stop, see a black person, call their homie, yeah, we got one, and shoot the black person at the bus stop.
Yeah, but why? Why do you think that is? There's a why to that.
It's got to be.
There's a why to that.
Man.
It's not they just
people
doing it
just-
consciously.
Yeah.
But they'll let them believe. They'll let them believe that
there's a
black
reason for
person is their enemy.
There's
Let me
a
ask you a
reason
question.
for it.
Somebody enforced in that Mexican's mind and these Mexicans' mind that this black person is a threat. This black person is an enemy.
You're not
and
understanding me.
So you don't see them
goes
as an
beyond,
enemy,
once it
man?
goes beyond the point where someone is infusing something in your mind to where you are taking action, then you are an enemy. Once you become,
but that's not the issue. The issue was, is it a conscious decision?
yeah, they're making conscious decisions.
No, that's not a conscious.
Yeah, because the
No,
reason
it's
they're
not.
making conscious
No, it's not.
decisions
I don't
is
think so.
because
It's not.
the reason they're making Tahuti. If I call you up, Tahuti, I'm on 113th Street, Lenox Avenue, right? Come on down. What's up? We got one. You get in your car and you drive to 113th and Lenox Avenue for the express purpose because we get ready to pop
That's a
somebody.
conscious
That's a
decision.
conscious decision.
No. Check this out. Give me that camera. Give me that camera. See, he's starting in the middle of the story. There's something preliminary to that.
Right.
There's a buildup of Tahuti. I'm gonna give you an example. All right, Tahuti. Sarnetta said your mother was this. Sarnetta was sleeping with your wife. Sarnetta is looking at your little 14-year-old daughter. Sarnetta did this. Sarnetta did that. Sarnetta did this. Now, in Tahuti's mind, I done gassed Tahuti up to say that this man is a threat.
Right, he put a battery in my
Here, I put a battery in his back to go get Sarnetta. You left that all out. Because the Mexican don't come here thinking about, well, I gotta kill Crips. He ain't seen a Crip in Mexico.
Give me that camera back.
Then he come here and they indoctrinate him just like they do every other ethnic group to hate black people.
There you go.
Every
That's
ethnic
what's
group that
happening.
comes here, they hate black people. They will come in our community and set up business because they know that the police will protect them.
All right, Brother Tahuti.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you again. Do you see the Mexican as our enemy, man?
No, sir. I see them also as victims of white supremacy. The same thing that's happening in Mexico is happening right outside my door. You know, brothers, I even hear brothers say, well, you know, if you go to Africa, they'll kill you. They don't even like you. I don't need to even go there to get murdered.
So how
The
can
same
you say
brother
that?
I grew up with will murder me.
So how can you say that to a brother who have lost his 2-year-old son in the hands of a Mexican blowing his brains out? How can you tell that father that they are not your enemy? Because this has happened.
It's going to take
Larry
a
is
highly
right.
involved individual to really sit back and see what's going on. This is the same damn setup that they set the Bloods and Crips up with. The Bloods and Crips began as revolutionary organizations. Brotherly love overrides our depression. Community revolution in progress. Now how did the hell they become degenerate gangs started murdering one another? They were not even originally called gangs. They were clubs. They were clubs, street organizations. They were based upon economics, taking care of their family, taking care of their neighborhood. How did they become degenerates? Because an enemy had to go in there and initiate. Somebody had to go and initiate. It's the same thing. I know a guy, and I don't really want to say his name on it because I don't want to incriminate him. But he was from Harlem. He was a big drug dealer. And I remember I was sitting in the penitentiary with him and he taught me, he said, man, this is how you take over blocks. You go in there and you find out about that crew. You put somebody to go join that block from your crew. That person goes in there, join that crew, finds out all the little intimate things, see how they work. And then that individual from the other person's crew creates a murder on that block. Right? They murder somebody on that block, so now what you do, right? You got now this crew getting ready to fight with this crew. You got two crews fighting with one another. Now when they kill each other off, the real crew that started it comes in and takes over both businesses. And that's what's happening over here in Mexico. I guarantee you the same thing they did right here in Harlem when they put the crack out there. They let them sell crack for years, but they didn't know what was really happening. They was getting people cracked out, right? They were all sick. Going to the hospital, birthing ADHD children, right? And the rest of them were getting locked up.
And
then what the white man come do?
Would sell their property cheap just to get out of the neighborhood.
And sell the property, and then what happened? Now you turn around. I was just coming up 40th Street. This was a major drug area right here. They got a brand new building with white folks up in there right now. And you know what that was from? That came from the crack epidemic. They purposely put the crack here so that they can get the Negroes out of the neighborhood so that they can come up in here and buy up the land, because they know that Harlem is a strategic military piece of land.